Top of the day, beautiful people. Top of the day. Guys, excuse me, today, take a sip of my water first, I'm sorry. Okay, y'all, that's swabble, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. I am excited about today's reading. Tiffany Hager, hey, so Bona. I'm live on YouTube already, so I'm not sure if you need to switch over. But I bought them on live first to make sure I was good. You know me. I want to make sure they was here from the beginning today. Okay, y'all. So today, let's go ahead with the date and stuff first before I tell y'all this. It is November the 24th, 2020, day 6 of year 3 of reading through the books of the law and prophets, and of the 3-year consecutive day count, day 674. 674. Oh, Tiffany, I got the head wrap. Girl, ordered it from Amazon. I sent you the link. I'm like, okay, since I'm going to be wrapping my hair more, you know, let me go ahead and get some multicolored head wraps and stuff. So I found a couple different ones that I really like. So I'm going to be trying them out, you know. So, I mean, I actually have a lot of different head wraps, but some of the colors, you know, I still got to play with them, you know. So, but I just pull one down. I don't really plan it out. I just, you know, I just grab one based on what I decided to throw on this morning. Okay, so today, y'all, after we read Genesis 16, 17, and 18, I was going to read a passage from Jasher, but I decided to change it today. I'm still going to read a passage from somewhere, but it's going to be from a book that I forgot I had. So when I got up early this morning, I decided I was actually about to go to Jasher to double check my the chapter or two that I was going to read in conjunction with today. But I went to my books that I download, that I find, some of the extra books that I find to help me with my understanding, some of the things that wasn't canonized, but it's actually history and stuff. So I found, y'all hear me talk about the apocalypse of Elijah and the apocalypse of Abraham, but I forgot I had the apocalypse of Moses. But in the apocalypse of Moses, which makes sense, remember, because when you're reading Jubilees, Moses is getting the direct account of what happened while he's up there on the mountain of Yahuwah, right? So this, and I was reading over it this morning, I was like, oh, snap. Should have read this at the beginning. So we're going to backtrack just a little bit, guys. It is so good. Let me tell you something. It gives a little bit more detail about how, you know how when it said that after Adam and Eve ate of the fruit that of the tree of life, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil, when they ate after that, they saw that they were naked. Bruh, this book tells you exactly how they were naked. I'm just like, and I had to pause and I had to think about it. I'm like, that makes so much sense. Why did we not ever think of that? And Tiffany also, remember how we talked about, this was one of the things we talked about before, about Jubilees and Jasher, and a couple of the conflicting views, one in particular about how Cain died. And I said, I don't think they're conflicting. I think we're missing some information. But my original thoughts about what happened, because in one of them it says that his house fell upon him, and the other one says, which we just read the day before yesterday, that when Lamech and Tubal Cain was out, that they killed him because they thought he was an animal off in a far distance. We were missing some information, and my original thoughts was right. When it says his house fell upon him, it's exactly what I thought it was, because that same terminology is used here in the apocalypse of Moses. So when it says that his house fell upon him, and by a stone he killed Abel, so by a stone he was killed, meaning his house fell upon him. No, his house representing his family fell upon him. That's what it meant. So it's not an actual house, the stones and stuff. It's the stones from his house, the few members from his house. What we know was one. A stone from his house representing a member from his house, from his family, fell upon him. Lamech killed him. It was by mistake, but Yahuwah said that was a righteous judgment. Okay, shalom, shalom, mother. Okay, so let's go ahead and get the reading going today. His house is his, yes, Tiffany, his house is his family. So, remember I said some things may seem to conflict, but it may not be conflicting. We may just be missing some information in our understanding. We could be lacking some information. That's exactly what it was. Okay, so when we read, and I'm up Apocalypse of Moses. Okay, y'all, so as soon as we're done reading this, we're going to go right into the Apocalypse of Moses. And like I said, like I always do, I'm going to put it, it's in a PDF format. So hopefully I'll figure out a way to attach it in YouTube in the comment section. I think I will. I've never had a problem with it before. That's why, Trina. I'll leave the link so everybody can read. If you got like our phone, you can download it to your the little application called Books. That's how I got it downloaded. So I read over that all that. It's like 8 pages. But it gives you a whole lot of information. It's a real easy, quick read. It took me probably about 20 minutes because a portion of it caught me off guard. And you know how sometimes you're reading something or something happened and all of a sudden tears catch you off guard, like, wait, where did it come from? So I had to stop. I was like, wait, why did they catch me off guard like that? So, but you'll see, guys, as we read it. So I'm super excited about reading that today. So let's go ahead and get started with Genesis 16. Let me minimize this. Bring YouTube, bring y'all right over here. Okay. All right, y'all. So, but I think this is really good as we get these pieces, as we continue on this time, more things will begin to make sense. Like I always said, as soon as we get pieces of the puzzle, we will adjust, and we'll go on with our understanding from there with a more complete version of our understanding because we have more pieces of the puzzle. All right, y'all. And some of the erroneous teaching and erroneous beliefs that we have previously had, we can adjust those, okay? All right, so Genesis, let me make sure my volume is up. Okay. Genesis chapter 16. Now Sarai, Abram's wife, had not been able to bear children for him, but she had an Egyptian servant named Hagar. So Sarah said to Abram, Yahuwah has prevented me from having children. Go and sleep with my servant. Perhaps I can have children through her. Excuse me. And Abram agreed with Sarai's proposal. So Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar, the Egyptian servant, and gave her to Abram as a wife. This happened 10 years after Abram had settled in the land of Canaan. So Abram had sexual relations with Hagar, and she became pregnant. But when Hagar knew she was pregnant, she began to treat her mistress, Sarai, with contempt. Then Sarai said to Abram, this is all your fault. We know that ain't the truth. This was Sarai's idea. Abram was minding his business till Sarai decided she wanted to try and bring you who was promised to pass. Don't do that, y'all. Don't do that. Just wait on y'all. I'm telling you, just wait on him. Because we create messes all over the place that y'all has to come and put out. We done started fires and now y'all got to bring in the fire extinguishers and water hoses and repurpose our mess. Okay. So Abram had sexual relations with Hagar and she became pregnant. But when Hagar knew she was pregnant, she began to treat her mistress Sarai with contempt. Then Sarai said to Abram, this is all your fault. I put my servant into your arms, but now that she's pregnant, she treats me with contempt. Yahuwah will show who's wrong, you or me. Abram replied, look, she's your servant, so deal with her as you see fit. Then Sarai treated Hagar so harshly that she finally ran away. The angel of Yahuwah found Hagar beside a spring of water in the wilderness along the road to Shur. The angel said to her, Hagar, Sarai's servant, where have you come from and where are you going? I'm running away from my mistress, Sarai, she replied. The angel of Yahuwah said to her, return to your mistress and submit to her authority. Then he added, I will give you more descendants than you can count. And the angel also said, you are now pregnant and will give birth to a son. You are to name him Ishmael, which means Yahuwah hears. For Yahuwah has heard your cry of distress. This son of yours will be a wild man, as untamed as a wild donkey. He will raise his fist against everyone, and everyone will be against him. Yes, he will live in open hostility against all his relatives. Thereafter, Hagar used another name to refer to Yahuwah, who had spoken to her. She said, "You are the God who sees me." She also said, "Have I truly seen the one who sees me?" So that well was named Bir Laha Roi, which means well of living one who sees me. It can still be found between Kadesh and Barrett. Okay. Quick note here. Also, if you go and you read in Jasher and Jubilees, it gives the extended story on what happens with Ishmael over a period of time. And you will see Yahuwah's blessing actually being upon him throughout time. And Abram actually goes to visit his son a couple times, and it tells about that story too. I think that's really good to know. Remember also those who are bloodline, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Remember, Ishmael is our cousin, right? Remember that. Remember, he's our cousin. So remember when they were about to, remember I mentioned yesterday, when Egypt was about to go to war with another nation, they found out that this nation was their cousins. These is the offspring of Ishmael that they found out. And they said, yeah, no, let's not do that, because we go out here to war. Israel going to decide not to, they may decide to join with their cousins and not side with us. So let us deal with these people wisely. So, all right, y'all. So now that we understand that, but I really do recommend that you go read about Ishmael, our cousin. All right. All right. So Hagar gave Abram a son, and Abram named him Ishmael. Abram was 86 years old when Ishmael was born. And now I'll put the chapters in there about Ishmael. Let me write myself a note. Chapters about Ishmael. Okay, so I'm gonna put in the Apocalypse of Moses and the chapters about Ishmael in there, so y'all can go read that. Okay, Genesis 17. When Abram was 99 years old, Yahuwah appeared to him and said, "I am El Shaddai, God Almighty. Serve me faithfully and live a blameless life. I will make a covenant with you by which I will guarantee to give you countless descendants." At this, Abram fell face down on the ground. Then Yahuwah said to him, "This is my covenant with you. I will make you the father of a multitude of nations. What's more, I am changing your name. It will no longer be Abram. Instead, you will be called Abraham, for you will be the father of many nations. I will make you extremely fruitful. Your descendants will become many nations, and kings will be among them." Not only was there kings among the bloodline of Isaac, but there are kings and princes and dukes among Ishmael as well. And if you go read that, what I'm posting here, you will see all of that as that happened over the course of time. As a matter of fact, they still hold a lot of those titles as well. "I will confirm my covenant with you and your descendants after you from generation to generation. This is the everlasting covenant. I will always be your God and the God of your descendants after you. I will give the entire land of Canaan, where you now live as a foreigner, to you and to your descendants. It will be their possession forever, and I will be their God." Then Yahuwah said to Abram, excuse me, "Your responsibility is to obey the terms of the covenant. You and all your descendants have this continual responsibility. This is the covenant that you and your descendants must keep. Each male among you must be circumcised. You must cut off the flesh of your foreskin as a sign of the covenant between me and you. From generation to generation, every male child must be circumcised on the 8th day after his birth." Let me bring out something. Even though we are in the land of our captivity and they don't do it on the 8th day, they still circumcise all of our men and keep, and not that they know that they're keeping Yahuwah's covenant, but Yahuwah, even in his anger towards us turning against him, he is still just and he is righteous and he is faithful, that he will still allow that physical covenant to be shown in the flesh of our male children, bruh. And not just us, a lot of people, especially if you're in America. Why? America holds the sons and daughters of Jacob. People, come on. Y'all paying attention? Come on. All these pieces, I'm helping y'all put these pieces together. Come on. Wake it up, people. Okay. This is the covenant that you and your descendants must keep. Each male among you must be circumcised. You must cut off the flesh of your foreskin as a sign of the covenant between me and you. From generation to generation, every male child must be circumcised on the 8th day after his birth. This applies not only to the members of your family, but also to the servants born in your household and the foreign-born servants whom you have purchased. All must be circumcised. Your bodies must wear the mark of my everlasting covenant. Any male who fails to be circumcised will be cut off from the covenant family for breaking the covenant. Then Yahuwah said to Abram, regarding Sarai your wife, her name will no longer be Sarai. From now on, her name will be Sarah, and I will bless her and give you a son from her. Yes, I will bless her richly, and she will become the mother of many nations. Kings of nations will be among her descendants. Then Abraham bowed down to the ground, but he laughed to himself in disbelief. How could I become a father at the age of 100, he thought, and how can Sarah have a baby when she is 90 years old? So Abraham said to Yahuwah, may Ishmael live under your special blessing. But Yahuwah replied, no, Sarah, your wife, will give birth to a son for you. You will name him Isaac, and I will confirm my covenant with him and his descendants as an everlasting covenant. As for Ishmael, I will bless him also, just as you have asked. I will make him extremely fruitful and multiply his descendants. He will become the father of 12 princes, and I will make him a great nation. But my covenant will be confirmed with Isaac, who will be born to you and Sarah about this time next year. And when Yahuwah had finished speaking, he left Abraham. And also it gives a deeper detail of this whole conversation, even when Sarah had left. And I thought it was pretty funny, but it's a good read. Just read it all, y'all, I'm telling you. On that very day, Abraham took his son Ishmael and every male in his household, including those born there and those who he had bought. Then he circumcised them, cutting off their foreskins, just as Yahuwah had told him. Abraham was 99 years old when he was circumcised, and Ishmael his son was 13. Both Abraham and his son Ishmael were circumcised on that same day, along with all the other men and boys of the household, whether they were born there or bought as servants. All were circumcised with him. All right, y'all. Last chapter of Genesis for today, Genesis chapter 18. And then we're going to go right into the apocalypse of Moses. Guys, I'm so excited about reading that. Genesis chapter 18. Yahuwah appeared again to Abraham near the oak grove belonging to Mamre. One day, Abraham was sitting at the entrance to his tent during the hottest part of the day. He looked up and noticed 3 men standing nearby. When he saw them, he ran to meet them and welcomed them, bowing low to the ground. My lord, he said, if it pleases you, stop here for a while. Rest in the shade of this tree while water is brought to wash your feet. And since you've honored your servant with this visit, let me prepare some food to refresh you before you continue on your journey. All right, they said, do as you have said. So Abraham ran back to the tent and said to Sarah, hurry, get 3 large measures of your best flour, knead it into dough, and bake some bread. Then Abraham ran out to the herd and chose a tender calf and gave it to his servant, who quickly prepared it. When the food was ready, Abraham took some yogurt and milk and the roasted meat, and he served it to the men. As they ate, Abraham waited on them in the shade of the trees. Where's Sarah, your wife? The visitors asked. She's inside the tent, Abraham replied. Then one of them said, I will return to you about this time next year, and your wife Sarah will have a son. Sarah was listening to this conversation from the tent. Abraham and Sarah were both very old by this time, and Sarah was long past the age of having children. So she laughed silently to herself and said, how could a worn-out woman like me enjoy such pleasure, especially when my master, my husband, is also so old? Then Yahuwah said to Abraham, why did Sarah laugh? Why did she say, can an old woman like me have a baby? Is anything too hard for Yahuwah? I will return about this time next year, and Sarah will have a son. Sarah was afraid, so she denied it, saying, I didn't laugh. But Yahuwah said, no, you did laugh. Then the men got up from their meal and looked out toward Sodom. As they left, Abraham went with them to send them on their way. Should I hide my plan from Abraham, Yahuwah asked? For Abraham will certainly become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth will be blessed through him. Think about, even as Abraham's seed was scattered throughout the earth, all the earth through the sons and daughters of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob have been blessed. Think about it, y'all. Think about how the world loves everything the sons and daughters of Jacob bring. Culture, everything. Think about it, y'all. Should I hide my plan from Abraham? Yahuwah asked, for Abraham will certainly become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth will be blessed through him. I have singled him out so that he will direct his sons and their families to keep the way of Yahuwah by doing what is right and just. Then I will do for Abraham all that I have promised. So Yahuwah told Abraham, I have heard a great outcry from Sodom and Gomorrah because their sin is so flagrant. I am going down there to see if their actions are as wicked as I have heard. If not, I want to know. The other men turned and headed towards Sodom, but Yahuwah remained with Abraham. Abraham approached him and said, will you sweep away both the righteous and the wicked? Suppose you find 50 righteous people living there in the city. Will you still sweep it away and not spare it for their sakes? Surely you wouldn't do such a thing, destroying the righteous along with the wicked. Why would you be treating the righteous and the wicked exactly the same? Surely you wouldn't do that. Should not the judge of all the earth do what is right? And Yahuwah replied, if I find 50 righteous people in Sodom, I will spare the entire city for their sake. Then Abraham spoke again, since I have begun, let me speak further to my Lord. Even though I'm but dust and ashes, suppose there are only 45 righteous people rather than 50. Will you destroy the whole city for lack of 5? Now, clearly, because we all know Abraham going through this, he about to start going through this list. Abraham himself know that they acting a fool down there, but he knew his his nephew Lot lived there, so he got to do something to try and intervene or something. So he just gonna he gonna keep dwindling down them numbers, and he want to make sure that his nephew gonna be safe. I'll read that again. Then Abraham spoke again, since I have begun, let me speak further to my Lord, even though I am but dust and ashes. Suppose there are only 45 righteous people rather than 50. Will you destroy the whole city for lack of 5? And Yahuwah said, I will not destroy it if I find 45 righteous people there. Then Abraham, let me just tell you something. Apparently, it's more than 1 or 2 righteous people here living on the earth, because Yahuwah still ain't destroyed it yet. So, Father, thank you for your mercy and your grace that you have upon the righteous. Oh, bruh. Okay, and Yahuwah said, I will not destroy it if I find 45 righteous people there. Then Abraham pressed his request further. Suppose there are only 40. And Yahuwah replied, I will not destroy it for the sake of 40. Please don't be angry, my Lord. Abraham pleaded, let me speak. Suppose there are only 30 righteous people found. And Yahuwah replied, I will not destroy it if I find 30. And Abraham said, since I have dared to speak to my Lord, let me continue. Suppose there are only 20. And by this time, Yahuwah probably giving him the side eye like, bruh, me and you both know what's going on in Sodom. And Yahuwah replied, then I would not destroy it for the sake of 20. I know Leisha, dude, Tiffany, dude, these people can't be saved. Finally, Abraham said, Yah, please don't be angry with me. If I speak one more time, suppose only 10 are found there. And Yahuwah replied, I will not destroy it for the sake of 10. When Yahuwah had finished his conversation with Abraham, he went on his way, and Abraham returned to his tent. And that's the end of the reading. Yeah, he stayed going, Lord. Notice he stopped at 10. And we all know that Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed. So we know that there were not at least 10 righteous people in that city. There were not at least 10. Lot and his daughters were saved out, but even those that were supposed to leave out with Lot, his daughter's husbands, wife, all of them got taken. All of them got taken. There were not at least even 10 people in Sodom. Okay, y'all. So now to the reading that I'm so excited about today. Okay, let me fix this. I'm going to bring it up. The Apocalypse of Moses, guys. Y'all got to hear this. And it so lines up with what we've been reading. That's why I was going through it, just to make sure there wasn't anything out of the ordinary that doesn't jive with the other scriptures, right? So, okay, let me pull it up. It's called The Apocalypse of Moses. There we go. And Mom and Alicia, I emailed it to y'all this morning too. Okay. Boom. Okay, let me put this over here so I can read this. Okay, y'all. It's a really quick read. If you have to go, I'm sorry, it's always recorded, so you can come back and listen to it. And what I do after it's done recording, in the title, I'll put where we start reading it here. So it'll be like at the 26-minute mark, you know. So if you come back, I have that in there so you can jump right to it if you want to. I always love the story, how they go back and forth. He tried. Trina, he tried. There was, like Tiffany said, there was no saving these people. These people can't be saved. I mean, they could have been, but they just refused to repent. You know, they just wanted to keep doing what they was doing. All right, y'all. Okay. The Apocalypse of Moses. This is the story. Okay, let me say something real quick, too. Okay, so in here, it uses Eve's real name, and her name is Chua. But for the sake of everybody who may come in, I'm going to just say Eve instead of Chua. But it's Adam and Eve, or they use the name Chua. And also in here, they'll refer to Yahuwah as Adonai or Elohim or Ahaya. And I'm sure all of you guys have heard those terms before. I just like how that sounds, Elohim, you know, and Ahaya. But I'm gonna switch it out and I'm going to use Yahuwah's name. You know, Elohim is the same thing as Elohim. Remember, in the Hebrew text, there are no E's. Even though we see Elisha and Elijah, it's a mispronunciation. It's Aliyah, right? There are no E's. So when you hear Elohim and Elohim, some people, and I kind of steered away from the Elohim, although it was the proper pronunciation of it. But because of the indoctrination here in America and Christians with the name Allah, it throws up red flags. So that's why in my wisdom I chose not to use Elohim so much, because some people, if they didn't understand it, they would just, oh no, what is she talking about? So you will hear me say Elohim, although it's the wrong pronunciation. But in here, I'm going to pronounce it right, y'all. Let's just get that out the way. So, but I will use Yahuwah when they're using his name, but it's still kind of replacing his name, but it's referring to him. But we know his name, so we're going to use his name. But when it said, in the place where it says gods, I'm going to just use Elohim, because Elohim is Elohim, or gods, plural, right? When it's referring that he is the God of gods, you know, okay, or the El of, y'all get what I'm saying. Okay. All right. So the Apocalypse of Moses. This is the story of Adam and Eve after they had gone out of paradise. And Adam knew his wife Eve and went upward to the sun rising and abode there 18 years and 2 months. And Eve conceived and had 2 sons, who was called Cain and who was called Abel. And it gives like their other names, Adi, because I don't know how to pronounce them. I just kind of skipped over them, but they talk about Cain and Abel. And it says, Eve conceived and bore 2 sons, Adi Photos, who was called Cain, and Amilabes, who was called Abel. Cain and Abel. After this, Adam and Eve were with one another while they were sleeping. Eve said to Adam, her Adono, my Adono, Adam, or my master, my Lord. Adono is my Lord, you know. Just like we're reading like the regular version of the Bible, whatever, but they just replace Adono with my Lord. Okay, my Adono, Adam, behold, I have seen in a dream this night the blood of my son Abel, who is styled, I have seen in a dream this night the blood of my son Abel being poured into the mouth of Cain, his brother. And he went on drinking it without pity. But he begged him to leave him a little of it. Yet he hearkened not to him, but gulped down the whole. Nor did it stay in his stomach, but came out of his mouth. And Adam said, let us arise and go and see what happened to them. I fear lest the adversary may be assailing them somewhere. Okay. Let me bring out another note. If you read in Jubilees and Jasher, and when it gives you the extended story of Cain and Abel, and I'll put that in there too, y'all. I'm sorry. I'll just put that so you can go read it, so you can verify this stuff yourself. Cain and Abel, it talks about how after Cain killed Abel, he tried to bury him, but the ground would not receive his body. That's why, Alicia, thank you. The ground would not receive his body because Adam should have died first. And we're going to see this all in here. This lines up with those couple books, right? Adam should have died first. That's why the earth would not receive the body of Abel. It only received the body of Abel after Adam was buried. Okay, so keep that in mind as we're reading, because it just said right here in her dream, that's what her dream meant, that Cain tried to drink him up, but his stomach wouldn't hold him, so he spit him up. That was the earth throwing the body of Abel back up. I'm getting better with dream interpretation, so when I see it, I'm understanding. It's like, whoo, wait a minute, I understand this. Hold on. Okay, I'm gonna keep reading, y'all. Okay, back to the apocalypse of Moses. Yet he hearkened not to him, but gulped down the whole, nor did it stay in his stomach, but came out of his mouth. And Adam said, let us arise and go and see what has happened to them. I fear lest the adversary may be assailing them somewhere. Oh, and these are chapters too, so this is going into chapter 3. They broke it up into chapters, and each chapter is like a couple sentences. But I'm not going to keep saying the chapter numbers. I'm going to just keep reading, y'all. And they both went and found Abel murdered by the hand of Cain his brother. And Yahuwah said to Michael the archangel, say to Adam, reveal not the secret that thou knowest to Cain thy son, for he is a son of wrath. But grieve not, for I will give thee another son in his stead. He shall show to thee all that thou shalt do. Do thou tell him nothing. Thus spake the archangel to Adam, but he kept the word in his heart, and with him also Eve, though they grieved concerning Abel their son. And after this, Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bare Seth. And Adam said to Eve, see, we have begotten a son in the place of Abel, whom Cain slew. Let us give glory and sacrifice to Elohim, to Yahuwah. And Adam begat 30 sons and 30 daughters. And Adam lived 930 years, and he fell sick and cried with a loud voice and said, let all my sons come to me, that I may see them before I die. And all assembled, for the earth was divided into 3 parts. Remember reading this when we were reading Jubilees and how it's talking about how the earth was divided. So like I said, I wouldn't be reading this to y'all if I didn't already know, okay, this is on track with this, and it does, and okay, it's all lining up. Okay, so listen, y'all. And Adam begat 30 sons and 30 daughters, and Adam lived 930 years, and he fell sick and cried with a loud voice and said, let all my sons come to me, that I may see them before I die. And all assembled, for the earth was divided into 3 parts. And Seth, his son, said to him, Father, Adam, what is thy complaint? And he said, my children, I am crushed by the burden of trouble. And they say to him, what is trouble? And Seth answered and said to him, hast thou called to mind, Father, the fruit of paradise which thou used to eat, and hast been grieved in your yearning for it? If this be so, tell me, and I will go and bring thee fruit from paradise. For I will set dung upon my head, and I will weep and pray that Ahiah, or that Yahuwah, will hearken to me, and send his angel, and bring me a plant from paradise, and I will bring it to thee, that thy trouble may cease from thee. Remember, that's why they were kicked out, because if they were allowed to continue eating the fruit that was in the garden, they would live eternally. Guys, y'all, listen to this. Keep listening. Like my kids say, Mom, keep watching, Mom, keep watching. Listen. Adam, I'm sorry, excuse me. Adam said to him, nay, my son Seth, but I have much sickness and trouble. Seth said to him, how hath this come upon thee? And Adam said, when Elohim, when Yahuwah made us, me and your mother, through whom I also died, he gave us power to eat every tree which is in paradise. But concerning that one only, he charged us not to eat it, and through this one we are to die. And the hour drew nigh for the angels who were guarding your mother to go up and worship Yahuwah, and I was far from her. Listen, Read that again. This is how it happened, how the serpent got in, and listen to the detail of what the serpent did. And remember, all of this happened before they sinned. So there were things that we could do. Remember also, we know that even the animals were speaking in their sin. The judgment that Yahuwah set forth, not only did it affect Adam and Eve, but it also affected the beasts of the field, everybody. So listen to the detail in this, y'all. Okay. And the hour drew nigh for the angels who were guarding your mother to go up and worship Yahuwah, and I was far from her. And the enemy knew that she was alone and gave to her, and she ate of the tree which she had been told not to eat. Then she gave also to me to eat. And Yahuwah was wroth with us, and Yahuwah came into paradise and called me in a terrible voice and said, Adam, where art thou? And why hidest thou from my face? Shall the house be able to hide itself from its builder? And he said to me, since thou hast abandoned my covenant, I have brought upon thy body 72 strokes. The first of the trouble of the first stroke is pain of the eyes. The stroke of affection of the second stroke of affection of hearing, and likewise in turn all the strokes shall befall thee. Think about how what our bodies begin to do as they get older, right? Especially if you haven't been already feeding it life. And he said this to his sons. Adam groaned sore and said, what shall I do? I am in great distress. And Eve wept and said, my Adonai, or my Lord Adam, rise up and give me half of thy trouble, and I will endure it. For it is on my account that this has happened to thee. On my account thou art beset with toils and troubles. But Adam said to Eve, arise and go with my son Seth near to paradise, and put earth upon your heads, and weep and pray to Yahuwah to have mercy upon me, and send his angel to paradise, and give me of the tree which the oil floweth, and bring it to me, and I shall anoint myself, and shall have rest from my complaints. Then Seth and Eve went towards paradise, and Eve saw her son, and a wild beast assailing him, and Eve wept and said, woe is me, if I come to the day of the resurrection. All those who have sinned will curse me, save Eve have not kept the commandment of Elohim, of Yahuwah. Ain't they saying that now? It's a whole bunch of people pissed with Eve. They are saying this. And she spake to the beast, thou wicked beast, fearest thou not to fight against the image of Yahuwah? Remember, before their sin, they had rule and dominion over all the beasts of the field. Now that they have sinned, I'm not going to get ahead of myself. Now that they have sinned, the animals' natures have also, the dominion that they have, they lost. So that's why she spoke to the beast that was running up like, wait, hold on, what is you doing? Why are you not afraid to attack the image of Yah? Okay. And she spake to the beast, thou wicked beast, fearest thou not to fight with the image of Yahuwah? How was thy mouth open? How were thy teeth made strong? How did thou not call to mind thy subjection? For long ago was thou made subject to the image of Yahuwah. Then the beast cried out and said, it is not our concern, Eve, thy greed and thy wailing, but thy own. For it is from thee that the rule of the beast has arisen. He said, that's your problem, sis. I'm about to get you. How was thy mouth open? He turned it right back on. Let me just read that again. The beast speaking now. It is not our concern, Eve, that thy greed and thy wailing, but thine own. For it is from thee that the rule of the beast has arisen. How was thy mouth open to eat of the tree concerning which Elohim, which Yahuwah enjoined thee not to eat of it? On this account our nature has also been transformed. Now therefore thou cannot endure it if I begin to reprove thee. Bruh, everybody is pissed with Eve, and he about to get her. But then Seth speaketh to the beast, close thy mouth and be silent, and stand off from the image of Yahuwah until the day of judgment. Then said the beast to Seth, Behold, I stand off from the image of Yahuwah. And he went to his lair. And Seth went with Eve near paradise, and they wept there, and prayed Yahuwah to send his angel and give them the oil of mercy. And Yahuwah sent the archangel Michael, and he spake to Seth, Seth, man of Yahuwah, weary not thyself with prayers and entreaties concerning the tree which floweth with oil, to anoint thy father Adam. For it shall not be thine now, but in the end of times. Listen to this. I'm going to read that again. Seth, man of Yahuwah, weary not thyself with prayers and entreaties concerning the tree which floweth with oil, to anoint thy father Adam. For it shall not be thine now, but in the end of the times. Meaning we are in those times now, and we can petition heaven for the healing balms and stuff that are found in Eden, those things that will heal the body, right? Then shall all flesh be raised up from Adam till that great day, all that shall be of the holy people. Then shall the delights of paradise be given to them, and Yahuwah shall be in their midst, and they shall no longer sin before his face. For the evil heart shall be taken from them, and there shall be given them a heart of understanding, the good, and to serve Yahuwah only. Remember how Yahuwah talks about that in Hosea and in the books of the prophets and stuff, and how he's going to take out the heart of stone and give us a heart of flesh, and we're going to have changed hearts, and we're going to worship him, and we're going to return to his laws and statutes and commands and worship him only, and he will be our God, and we will be his people. All of this, y'all got to read it all and keep it all in context. Look at all the pieces together. But do thou go back to thy father, for the term of his life have been fulfilled, and he will live 3 days from today and will die. But when his soul is departing, thou shalt behold the awful scene of his passing. Thus spake the angel, and departed from them. And Seth and Eve came to the hut where Adam was laid. And Adam said to Eve, Eve, what hast thou wrought in us? Thou hast brought upon us great wrath, which is death, mastering it over all our race. Yes, baby girl. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm almost done. I'm about to send you upstairs with that. Don't start that. And I'm not going to look right now, Pooh. Shush, shush, shush. Eve, what hast thou wrought in us? Thou hast... 1 second, guys. Babe, come on, let's go. Let's go. Come on. Babe, can you keep that up there until I'm done reading? I'm almost done. Go. All right, y'all. I'm sorry. I want to get through this. Okay, I'm sorry. Eve, what hast thou wrought in us? Thou hast brought upon us great wrath, which is death, mastering it over all our race. And he said to her, Call our children and our children's children, and tell them the manner of our transgression. Then said Eve to them, Hear all my children and children's children, and I will relate to you how the enemy deceived us. And listen, y'all, listen to Eve's account. It befell that we were guarding paradise, each of us the portion allotted to us from Yahuwah. Now I guarded in my lot the west and the south, but the devil went to Adam's lot where the male creatures were. For Yahuwah divided the creatures. All the males he gave to your father, and all the females he gave to me. And the devil spake to the serpent, saying, Rise up, come to me, and I will tell thee a word whereby thou mayest have profit. And he rose up and came to him. And the devil said to him, I hear that thou art wiser than all the beasts, and I have come to counsel thee. Why dost thou eat of Adam's tares and not of paradise? Rise up, and we will cause him to be cast out of paradise, even as we were cast out through him. The serpent said to him, I fear lest Yahuwah be wroth with me. The devil said to him, Fear not, only be my vessel, and I will speak through thy mouth words to deceive him. And instantly he hung himself from the wall of paradise. And when the angels ascended to worship Yahuwah, then Satan appeared in the form of an angel and sang hymns like the angels. And I bent over the wall and saw him like an angel. But he said to me, Art thou Eve? And I said to him, I am. What art thou doing in paradise? And I said to him, Yahuwah set us to guard it and eat it. Yahuwah set us to guard and to eat of it. The devil answered through the mouth of the serpent, Ye do well, but ye do not eat of every plant. And I said, Yea, we eat of all, save the one only, which is in the midst of paradise, concerning which Yahuwah charged us not to eat of it. For he said to us, On the day on which ye eat of it, ye shall die the death. Then the serpent said to me, May Yahuwah live, but I am grieved on your account, for I would not have you be ignorant. But arise, come hither, hearken to me, and eat, and mind the value of the tree. But I said to him, I fear lest Yahuwah be wroth with me, as he told us. And he said to me, Fear not, for as soon as thou eatest of it, ye too shall be as Yahuwah, and in that ye shall know good and evil. But Yahuwah perceived this, that ye would be like him. So he envied you and said, Ye shall not eat of it. Nay, do thou give heed to the plant, and thou wilt see its great glory. Yet I feared to take of the fruit. And he said to me, Come hither, and I will give it to thee. Follow me. And I opened to him, and he walked a little way, then turned and said to me, I have changed my mind, and I will not give it to thee to eat until thou swear to me to also give it to thy husband. And I said, What sort of oath shall I swear to thee? Yet what I know I say to thee, by the throne of the Master, and by the cherubim and the tree of life, I will also give to my husband to eat. And when he had received the oath from me, he went and poured upon the fruit the poison of his wickedness, which is lust, the root and beginning of every sin. And he bent the branch on the earth, and I took of the fruit and I ate. Even in that, she had a way of escape. She backed out because he said, I ain't gonna give it to you, sis, until you make a vow to me to also give it to your husband. I'm like, wait, what? Nah, I changed my mind too. I'm out. Bye. But that ain't the way it played out, did it? Okay. And in that very hour, my eyes were open, and forthwith I knew, listen. And in that very hour, my eyes were open, and forthwith I knew that I was bare of the righteousness which I had been clothed upon. And I wept and said to him, and this is what caught me off guard. Remember I was telling y'all in the beginning, at a certain part, it just caught me off guard, and I began to, I'm like, wait a minute, why did that catch me off guard like that? Because I understood at the time that they seen, remember, all they knew was the presence of Yah. And when they broke his command, his presence, immediately the righteousness that and his glory that clothed them immediately left them, and they knew that they were naked. They were bare of the glory that was surrounding them from the day that they opened their eyes and took their first breath. Bruh, that's why the tears hit me, and I'm like, wait a minute. I was not expecting that this morning. I'm going to read it again, y'all. In that very hour, my eyes were open, and forthwith I knew that I was bare of the righteousness with which I had been clothed upon. And I wept and said to him, Why hast thou done this to me, and that thou hast deprived me of the glory which with I was clothed? And even after that, like, how could you go and give that to your husband? I would have been like, take me now. Like, I wouldn't have caused any more cheese. Listen, bruh. Why hast thou done this to me, and that thou hast deprived me of the glory with which I was clothed? But I wept also about the oath which I had sworn. Bruh, I'm breaking my word today. I'm the only one who have sinned. Father, kill me. Let my husband live on. Do not let, if this is what it feels like to be without your presence, take me. Leave my husband. He is innocent. Bruh. But I wept. Hold on, y'all. I'm pull myself together. Whew. Okay. But I wept also about the oath which I had sworn. But he descended from the tree and vanished. And I began to seek in my nakedness and my part for the leaves to hide my shame. How could you cover the... Okay, boy. And I began to seek in my nakedness and my part for the leaves to hide my shame. But I found none, for as soon as I had eaten, the leaves showered down from all the trees in my part, except the fig tree only. But I took leaves from it and made for myself a girdle, and it was from the very same plant which I had eaten. The tree, I know, right? Would have been like, take me and give him another wife. Man. And I cried out in that very hour, Adam, Adam, where art thou? Rise up and come to me, and I will show thee a great secret. Man, when seeing it, how, let me tell you, she was no longer in her right mind. Like, she think now she's bound to this oath, and it's like the sin is pressing her on, and she's deceived now, and she's going on deceiving the very one she loved. I'm just like, man. Hey, Dana, this is the Apocalypse of Moses. I'm going to put it in here so y'all can read it. If you go back to the beginning, I'm explaining a little bit about it. So that's why I'm like, okay, we're going to backtrack. We need to fill in some places with this right here. Okay, so let me keep on reading. But yeah, I'm reading from the Apocalypse of Moses. It's it's 7 pages long, and the 8th page is literally about 6 lines. Okay. I found my place. Okay, and I'll go back here. And I cried out in that very hour, Adam, Adam, where art thou? Rise up, come to me, and I will show thee a great secret. But when your father came, I spake to him words of transgression, which have brought us down from our great glory. For when he came, I opened my mouth, and the devil was speaking. Listen, when he came, I opened my mouth, and the devil was speaking. And I began to exhort him and said, come hither, my Adonai, my Lord Adam, hearken to me and eat of the fruit of the tree of which Yahuwah told us not to eat of, and thou shalt be as Yahuwah. And your father answered and said, I fear. And all of them, the serpent, Eve, all of them, while they were still in their right mind, they said, no, y'all told us not to do this. But remember, when they gave their will over to Satan, he came into them, and now he is speaking through them. Those vessels which were once righteous have now become dirty, and is being used for the enemy's purposes. And it's such a chain effect. He possessed you, then you go, and he's speaking through you. Now they're possessed. Now he's speaking through them, and it's a chain effect and trying to get everybody in the line, bruh. And your father answered and said, I fear lest Yahuwah be wroth with me. And I said to him, fear not, for as soon as thou hast eaten, thou shalt know good and evil. And speedily I persuaded him, and he ate, and straightway his eyes were opened, and he too knew his nakedness. And to me he said, O wicked woman, what hast thou done to thee, that thou hast deprived me of the glory of Yahuwah? I would have been done. Yes, sis, yes. She said, look, the enemy is still using women's mouth to wreak havoc. I'm telling you, bruh, it's the same system, the same thing happening over and over and over and over again, bruh. Okay. And in that same hour, we heard the archangel Michael blowing his trumpet and calling to the angels, saying, thus saith Yahuwah, come with me to paradise and hear the judgment which thou shalt judge Adam. Like, they saw all this happening. And when Yahuwah appeared in paradise, mounted on the chariot of his cherubim, with the angels proceeding before him and singing hymns of praises, all the plants of paradise, both of your father's lot and mine, broke out into flowers. And the throne of Yahuwah was fixed where the tree of life was. And Yahuwah called to Adam, saying, Adam, where art thou? Can the house be hidden from the presence of its builder? Then your father answered, it is not because we think we cannot be found by thee, O Adonai, that we hide. But I was afraid because I was naked, and I was ashamed before thy might, my master. Yahuwah said to him, Who showed thee that thou art naked, unless thou hast forsaken my commandment, which I delivered to thee to keep it? Then Adam called to mind the word which I spake unto him, saying, I will make thee secure before Yahuwah. And he turned and said to me, Why hast thou done this? And I said, The serpent deceived me. Elohim, or Yahuwah, said to Adam, Since thou hast disregarded my commandment and hast hearkened to thy wife, cursed is the earth in thy labors. Thou shalt work it, and it shall not give it strength. Thorns and thistles shall spring up for thee, and in the sweat of thy face thou shalt eat thy bread. Thou shalt be in manifold toils. Thou shalt be crushed by bitterness, but of sweetness thou shalt not taste. Weary shalt thou be, and shalt not rest. By heat shalt thou be tired. By cold shalt thou be straitened. Abundantly shalt thou busy thyself, but thou shalt not be rich. And thou shalt grow fat, but come to no end. The beast over whom thou did rule shall rise up in rebellion against thee, for thou hast not kept my commandment. Now we see when we don't keep y'all's commands, how it's just a slippery slope from there, y'all. And Yahuwah turned to me and said, Since thou hast hearkened to the serpent, and turned a deaf ear to my commandment, thou shalt be in the throes of travail and intolerable agonies. Thou shalt bear children in much trembling, and in 1 hour thou shalt come to the birth and lose thy life from thy sore trouble and anguish. But thou shalt confess and say, Yahuwah, save me, and I will turn no more to the sin of the flesh. And on this account, from thy own words I will judge thee, by reason of the enmity which the enemy has planted in thee. But he turned to the serpent, and in great wrath said, Since thou hast done this, and become a thankless vessel, until thou hast deceived the innocent hearts, accursed art thou among all beasts. Thou shalt be deprived of the victual which thou did eat, and shalt feed on the dust all the days of thy life. On thy breast and thy belly shalt thou walk, and be robbed of hands and feet. There shall be left thee no ear, nor wing, nor limb of all that which thou did ensnare them in thy malice, and cause them to be cast out of paradise. And I will put enmity between thee and his seed, and he shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel until the day of judgment. He said, I'm going to strip you of everything that you use to cause the innocent's hearts to sin. You don't get no legs no more. You don't get no arms no more. You don't get the wings. You don't get no ears. Bruh. Then he spake and bade the angels to have us cast out of paradise. And as we were being driven out amid our loud lamentations, your father Adam besought the angels and said, Leave me a little space, that I may entreat Yahuwah, that he have compassion on me and pity me, for I only have sinned. And they left off driving him, and Adam cried aloud and wept, saying, Pardon me, O Yahuwah, my deed. Then Yahuwah said to the angels, Why have ye ceased from driving Adam from paradise? Why do ye not cast him out? Is it I who have done wrong, or is my judgment badly judged? Then the angels fell down on the ground and worshipped Yahuwah, saying, Thou art just, O Yahuwah, thou art judge, thou judgest righteous judgment. But Yahuwah turned to Adam and said, I will not suffer thee henceforth to be in paradise. And Adam answered and said, Grant me, O Yahuwah, of the tree of life, that I may eat of it before I be cast out. Then Yahuwah spake to Adam, Thou shalt not take of it now, for I have commanded the cherubim and the flaming sword that turneth every way to guard it from thee, that thou should not taste of it. But thou hast the war which the adversary hath put into thee. Yet thou art gone out of paradise. If thou shouldest keep thyself from all evil, as one about to die, when again the resurrection have come to pass, I will raise thee up, and there shall be given thee the tree of life. Thus Yahuwah spake, and ordered us to be cast out of paradise. But your father Adam wept before the angels opposite paradise, and the angel said to him, What wouldest thou have us to do, Adam? And your father said to them, Behold, ye cast me out. I pray you, allow me to take away fragrant herbs from paradise, so that I may offer an offering to Yahuwah after I have gone out of paradise, that he hear me. And the angels approached Yahuwah and said, Jael, eternal king, command, my Adonai, that there be given to Adam incense of sweet odor from paradise and seeds for his food. And Yahuwah bade Adam go in and take sweet spices and fragrant herbs from paradise and seeds for his food. And the angels let him go in, and he took 4 kinds, crocus and nard and calamus and cinnamon, and the other seeds for his food. And after taking these, he went out of paradise. And we were on the earth. I know this is so sad, Tiffany. I'm just like, man. Now then, my children, I have shown you the way in which we were deceived, and do ye guard yourselves from transgressing against the good. And when Yahuwah had said this in the midst of her son, and when Eve had said this in the midst of her sons, while Adam was laying ill and bound to die after a single day from the sickness which had fastened upon him, she said to him, How is it that thou diest and I live? Or how long have I to live after thou art dead? Tell me. And Adam said to her, Reck not of this, for thou tarried not after me, but even both of us are to die together, and she shall lie in my place. And when I die, anoint me, and let no man touch me till the angel of Yahuwah shall speak somewhat concerning me. And Yahuwah will not forget me, but will seek his own creature. And now arise rather and pray to Yahuwah till I give up my spirit into his hands, who gave it to me. For we know not how we are to meet our Maker, whether he be wroth with us or be merciful and intend to pity and receive us. I'm sorry, y'all. Ooh, this is getting me again. Pull myself together. Okay. Let me take a sip of water. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay. I think I'm good now. Okay, Pam, get yourself together. All right, y'all. And Eve rose up and went outside and fell on the ground and began to say, I have sinned, O Yahuwah, I have sinned. O Yahuwah of all, I have sinned against thee. I have sinned against the elect angels. I have sinned against the cherubim. I have sinned against thy fearful and unshakable throne. I have sinned before thee, and all sin hath begun through my doing in the creation. Even thus prayed Eve on her knees, and behold, the angel of humanity came to her, and raised her up and said, Rise up, Eve, from thy penitence, for behold, Adam thy husband hath gone out of his body. Rise up, and behold his spirit borne aloft to his Maker. And Eve rose up and wiped off her tears with her hand, and the angel said to her, And Eve rose up and wiped off her tears with her hand, and the angel said to her, Lift up thyself from the earth. And she gazed steadfastly into heaven, and beheld a chariot of light borne by 4 bright eagles. And it were impossible for any man born of a woman to tell the glory of them or behold their face. So what she's saying is nobody, no flesh is seeing this, only her. And then we're going to see that her alone and Seth can see this. And she gazed steadfastly into heaven and beheld a chariot of light borne by 4 bright eagles. And it were impossible for any man born of woman to tell the glory of them or behold their face. And angels going before the chariot. And when they came to the place where your father Adam was, the chariot halted, and the seraphim. And I beheld golden censers between your father and the chariot. And all the angels with censers and frankincense came And all the angels with censers and frankincense came in haste to the incense offering, and blew upon it, and the smoke of the incense veiled the firmaments. And the angels fell down and worshipped Yahuwah, crying aloud, Jael, Holy One, have pardon, for he is thy image, and the work of thy holy hands. And I beheld two great and fearful wonders standing in the presence of Yahuwah, and I wept for fear. Bella, you gotta turn it down. And I wept for fear, and I cried aloud to my son Seth, and said, Rise up, Seth, from the body of thy father. Can you get it? Okay. Rise up, Seth, from the body of thy father, and come to me, and thou shalt see a spectacle which no man's eyes hath yet beheld. Then Seth arose and came to his mother, and he said to her, Stop, y'all. What is thy trouble? Why weepest thou? And she said to him, Look up and see with thine eyes the 7 heavens open, and see how the soul of thy father lies on its face, and all the holy angels are praying in his behalf, saying, Pardon him, Father of all, for he is thine image. Pray, my child Seth, what shall this mean? And will he one day be delivered into the hands of the invisible Father, even our Elohim? But who are listen to this. But who are the 2 Negroes who stand by at the prayers for thy father Adam? And Seth telleth his mother that they are the sun and the moon, and themselves fall down and pray on the behalf of my father Adam. Eve said to him, And where is their light, and why have they taken on such a black appearance? And Seth answered her, The light hath not left them, but they cannot shine before the light of the universe, the Father of lights. And on this account their light hath been hidden from them. Bruh, the lesser lights bow before the greater light. He said their light cannot shine in the presence of the Father. He said their light is not gone for them. They just can't shine when the light of the Father is shining. I'm like, listen. And Seth answered her, The light hath not left them, but they cannot shine before the light of the universe, the Father of light. And on this account their light hath been hidden from them. Now while Seth was saying this to his mother, lo, an angel blew the trumpet, and there stood up all the angels, and they were lying on their faces. Bella, shush. And they cried aloud in an awful voice and said, Blessed be the glory of Yahuwah from the works of his making, for he hath pitied Adam, the creature of his hands. But when the angels had said these words, lo, there came one of the seraphim with 6 wings, and snatched up Adam, and carried him off to the Ashurian lake, and washed him thrice in the presence of Yahuwah. And Yahuwah said to him, Adam, what hast thou done? If thou had kept my commandment, there would now be no rejoicing among those who are bringing thee down to this place. Yet I tell thee that I will turn their joy to grief, and thy grief will I turn to joy. And I will transform thee to thy former glory, and set thee on the throne of thy deceiver. But he shall be cast into this place to see thee sitting above him. Then he shall be condemned, and they that heard him, and he shall be grieved sore when he seeth thee sitting on his honorable throne. And he stayed there 3 hours, laying down, and thereafter, after the Father of all, sitting on his holy throne, stretched out his hand, and took Adam, and handed him over to the archangel Michael, saying, Lift him up into paradise unto the 3rd heaven, and leave him there unto that fearful day of my reckoning, which I will make in the world. Then Michael took Adam and left him where Yahuwah told him. But after all this, the archangel asked concerning the laying out of the remains. And Yahuwah commanded that all the angels should assemble in his presence, each in his order, and all the angels assembled, some having censers in their hands, and others trumpets. And lo, Yahuwah of hosts came on, the 4 winds drew him, and the cherubim mounted on the winds, and the angels from heaven escorting him, and they came on the earth, where was the body of Adam. And they came to paradise, and all the leaves of paradise were stirred, so that all men begotten of Adam slept from the fragrance, save Seth alone, because he was born according to the appointment of Yahuwah. So as the fragrance from the trees of the garden began to blow through the air, the only one that could smell the fragrance coming from the garden was Seth. He said all the other sons, the men born from Adam, slept in this smell, meaning they couldn't smell it except for Seth. I read that again. And they came to paradise, and all the leaves of paradise were stirred, so that all men begotten of Adam slept from the fragrance, save Seth alone, because he was born according to the appointment of Yahuwah. Then Adam's body lay there in paradise on earth, and Seth grieved exceedingly over him. Okay, and this is where it's going to talk about why Abel couldn't be buried before Adam was. And I'm almost done, y'all. Then Yahuwah spake to the archangels Michael, Gabriel, Uriel, and Raphael, go away to paradise in the third heaven, and strew linen clothes, and cover the body of Adam, and bring oil of the oil of fragrance, and pour it over him. And they acted thus, did the three great angels, and they prepared him for burial. And Yahuwah said, let the body of Abel also be brought. And they, wait a minute, Bella. And they also bore other linen clothes, and prepared his body also. For what? Bella, wait a minute. For he was unburied since the day when Cain his brother slew him. For wicked Cain took great pains to conceal him, but could not, for the earth would not receive him. For the body sprang up from the earth, and a voice went out of the earth, saying, I will not receive a companion body till the earth, which was taken and fashioned in me, come to me. Which was talking about Adam. He said, I would not receive Abel's body until I have Adam's body. At that time, the angels took it and placed it on a rock till Adam his father was buried. And both were buried according to the commandment of Yahuwah in the spot where Yahuwah found the dust. And he caused the place to be dug for two. And Yahuwah sent 7 angels to paradise, and they brought many fragrant spices and placed them in the earth. And they took the 2 bodies and placed them in the spot where they had been digged and built. And Yahuwah called and said, Adam, Adam. And the body answered from the earth and said, Here am I, Adonai. And Yahuwah said to him, I told thee that earth thou art, and to earth thou shalt return. Go ahead. Yes. Again, I promise to thee the resurrection. I will raise thee up in the resurrection with every man who is of thy seed. After these words, Yahuwah made a seal and sealed the tomb, that no one might do anything to him for 6 days, till his rib should be returned to him. Then Yahuwah and his angels went to their place, and Eve also, when the 6 days were fulfilled, fell asleep. But while she was living, she wept bitterly about Adam's falling asleep, for she knew not where he was laid. For when Yahuwah came to paradise to bury Adam, she was asleep, and her sons too, except Seth, till he bade Adam be prepared for burial. And no man knew on earth except her son Seth. And Eve prayed in the hour of her death that she might be buried in the place where her husband Adam was. And after she had finished her prayer, she said, Adonai, Master, Elohim of all rule, estrange me not, thy handmaid, from the body of Adam, for from his members did thou make me, but deem me worthy, even me unworthy, that I am a sinner, to enter into his tabernacle, even as I was with him in paradise, both without separation from each other. Just as in our transgression we were both led astray and transgressed thy command, but we were not separated. Even so, Yahuwah, do not separate us now. But after she prayed, she gazed heavenward and groaned aloud and smote her breast and said, Elohim of all, receive my spirit. And straightway she delivered up her spirit to Yahuwah. And Michael came and taught Seth how to prepare Eve for burial. And there came 3 angels, and they buried her body where Adam's body was and Abel's. And thereafter Michael spake to Seth and said, Lay out in this wise every man that dieth to the day of resurrection. And after giving him this rule, he said to him, Mourn not beyond 6 days. But on the seventh day, rest and rejoice on it, because on that very day Yahuwah rejoiced. Yea, we and the angels too, with the righteous soul who have passed away from the earth. Even thus spake the angel, and ascended into heaven, glorifying Yahuwah, saying, Hallelujah. Holy, holy, holy is Yahuwah, in the glory of Yahuwah the Father. For to him it is meet to give glory. Remember that word? It is meet. It is meet to give. Remember I told you in the beginning where they said, I've given these animals to you, meat to you, not meat as to eat, but as useful for you to use. For it is meet to give glory, honor, and worship with the eternal life-giving spirit, now and always and forever. Amen. Holy, holy, holy is Yahuwah, the God of hosts, to whom be glory and power forever and ever. Amen. Then the archangel Joel glorified Elohim, Yahuwah, saying, Holy, 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 Ahia, heaven and earth are full of thy glory. And that, my beautiful people, is the apocalypse of Moses. And I gotta hurry up and end this because my phone is about to die. Guys, that was friggin' awesome. Let me know if y'all loved it or not. Leave a comment in the section, but I need to go ahead and do the blessing before my phone dies. It kept giving me this the signal. It was about to die on me. So, all right, y'all, let me hurry up and go back here to the blessing real quick. Hold on. Okay. All right, y'all. So that was our reading for today. Genesis 16, 17, 18, and we read the Apocalypse of Moses. It is Tuesday, November the 24th, 2020, day number 6 of year through of reading through the books of the law and the prophets and of the 3-year consecutive day count. It is day 674. So we go right to the blessing, which is found in Numbers chapter 6. Remember, the first 21 verses is the Nazirite vow. And the blessing begins at verse 22. And Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron and unto his son, saying, On this wise ye shall bless the children of Israel, saying unto them, May Yahuwah bless us and keep us. May Yahuwah make his face to shine upon us and be gracious unto us. May Yahuwah lift up his countenance upon us and give us his peace. And they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. All right, beautiful people, I love y'all. I really hope y'all enjoyed the reading today. Y'all can go back and re-listen to it if you missed any of it. Listen to it from the beginning. I give you notes. Long session today, yes, because we just finished reading the Apocalypse of Moses, y'all. So we're at an hour and 18 minutes. So, all right, y'all, I love y'all, and I will see y'all. Wish I had been taught the full account of what really happened. I know it would make so much more difference, y'all. So we would understand so much more, and we wouldn't be taken away. We would not have been taken away with a lot of the erroneous teachings that we were taught. All right, y'all. So, all right, y'all. Phone about to die. I love y'all, and I see y'all bright and early in the morning, 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace.